What's up everybody, Jeffrey McAvoy here. It's so good of you to be back. Welcome to this part one of at least two of the maintenance videos about the 1973 Steyr Pinzgauer. Spoiler alert. Now, as I was saying, welcome to part one of at least two of the maintenance videos of this 1973 Steyr Pinzgauer. Now, I bought this thing back in November of 2020, and a lot has happened to it since I've had it. Now, the previous owner has owned it for roughly 5 or 6 years and told me that in the whole time of his ownership, he never serviced it. So you've seen how much of a beating this thing can take as it endured me at the wheel last time. And I sank it like an idiot. Anyway, lots has been done since I have it, of course. So I hope that you're going to enjoy this video, and that's going to enlighten you if you own a Steyr Pinzgauer. If you don't, I do hope that you find this entertaining anyhow, because I had a huge time making this video. It was great fun. So thank you all so much for watching, and let's start off with hopefully avoiding the rain. Now, luckily, we have come a long way since the day that it was delivered to me. This is how I received it on that very day. It was caked in mud from God only knows where, and was looking rather sorry for itself. So, you know, I thought I would bring myself up to taking on this challenge. I've been searching for a Pinzgauer for over 2 years now, and I bought the Land Rover Discovery instead while we wait, so to speak. So sadly, that one has been sold to finance this Pinzgauer, which I do intend to keep. So you will be seeing a lot more of it on this channel. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe to let me know that you want to know more. And if you can, do check out my Patreon page, which would help quite a lot in getting this content out to you guys. So in any case, enjoy the show. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Much more tedious than opening the bonnet on a Ford Fiesta. Anyway, the first part of tuning up an engine, whichever one it is for that matter, will start with adjusting the valve lash. Now, you're going to want to have a starting point, which is these timing marks indicating the firing of the first cylinder. So that's top dead center on cylinder number 1 with both valves closed. Now, a very funny thing about this engine is that the firing order is quite different. It goes 1, 2, 4, 3, which is quite unconventional. Other than that, adjusting the valves is exactly the same procedure as you would with any other classic of that era, or any other, or at least most of the classic cars. Is extremely simple. You just need a set of feeler gauges, get them in there, adjust with the locking screw, and that's really all there is to it. Now, one interesting thing to note is when you replace the valve covers, it's actually easier to place the fourth one before the third. That's a little trick right there. Now, the installation of this system is very well described in the instruction manual which accompanies the kit. Now, I bought this in the United States. Took a while to arrive, but I'm glad that it did. The only thing that I modified is the HT leads, because I modified the location of the modules. And here's where I relocated the ignition module. It used to be, as per the instructions, it used to be down here. And so obviously, as soon as I sank it the other time, it got wet and ignition died, and that's why it stalled. So now the module is in the place of the heater. So now that the starter motor is in place, let's, there we go. There we go. Noise. Realised that I lost the screw here. Now, since I relocated the Pins SSI ignition system, I had to relocate the HT leads. Now, these are the ones which were on the car when I bought it. They are absolutely crap. There's huge play in the caps, and were I to drive through a puddle or even in wet, rainy conditions, it would sputter and sometimes even stall, which is ridiculous. There we go, that's more like it. So the way I do it is, once you've got your cable as it is, just fan out the strands. Give a better surface area of contact. Grab the little extremity bit thing here, and then with some good old crocodile pliers, sort of give it a pre-crimp. Otherwise, it doesn't fit in the tool. Then grab the crimping tool, and in the correct jaws. Go at it like so. Now, if you fudge it up like I just did right here, as in the prongs are not entirely well engaged, you can always go back and release, because this is a ratchet spanner. You can always, damn it, you can always release. You can always release if you fudge it up. See. Like so, and then just crimp the f out of this thing. There we go. And don't be an idiot like me. Put these things before. Damn it! Now we need to have a pain in the ass fitting these. Obviously put your little tag before, grab a bit of this, Castrol rubber grease, which is serving me well. Lube. Lube this nice and nice. Go, and then just merely press fit the boot of the spark plug cap. There we go, and listen to the 2 to 3 positive clicks. And a little bit of grease here will not hurt to seal the thing. Let that cool down, and there we have it. Now, it's really only when your ignition system is up to scratch that you can think of overhauling carburetors. Many times carburetors are incriminated wrongly. People would think that the carbs are to be incriminated when in fact their running issues are generated by the ignition system. So sort out the ignition first and move on to the carbs last. That's really the last step in getting an engine to run properly. Now, these clearly have seen better days, and I believe that this fitment is identical to that of the Porsche 356, funnily enough. Now, not to forget that the Steyr-Puck is an Austrian vehicle, and so is the Porsche's origins as well. Now, taking it apart, you really can do nothing wrong. It's only upon building a car that you can make mistakes like this one. F***ing moron. Anyway, the rest is just nuts and bolts, so you can just take it apart. If you do it methodically, it's absolutely going to be fine. It's just a matter of removing all the jets, and that's pretty much it. Carefully clean the mating surfaces of the old gasket with a brand new sharp razor blade. Make sure not to alter the mating faces, and that's pretty much it. I dumped this in the ultrasonic cleaner for 2 times 20 minutes each at 80 degrees Celsius to get rid of all the crap inside, and it seemed to have done an excellent job. Look at that, brand new, nice and shiny, nice and beautifully shiny. Now, it's just a matter of putting everything back together. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't know every single tech spec of every single carburetor made in the world. I do have access to the mechanical literature, which I have read prior to taking this carburetor apart. It does help hugely in understanding how these things work pretty much. Now, it is my full-time job, so I do get the basics, but you do need to get into the specifications of any given element, in fact. So I do nothing without the tech book, which is widely available. So if you do own a Steyr-Puck Pinzgauer, I strongly suggest you get one. And if you don't own one, it is still a highly interesting read. So since it's readily available, might as well get one. So das Werkstattmanual states that this here throttle disc should barely open when the what am I saying? The throttle disc should be initially set to barely open, which is what I'm going to do now. There we go. Seems pretty decent. Okay. So. I need to act on this here screw. And there is a bit of play in the spindle as well. But yeah, bearing that in mind, here we go. Just screw this motherfucker in. There we go. There we go. Until it barely opens. That's what I'm going to do. And there we have it, two beautifully rebuilt carburetors. Now that's not it. I did actually run into float level issues, as you will see. So now the only thing left to do is to reinstate them onto the engine, check the fuel pump pressure, and move on to some other verifications. Here we go. Basically means that the float levels are too high. On focus. Yeah. Petrol is pouring down. Petrol is actually pooled up. Look at that. Off with their heads, quite literally. You do require some special tools to check the float level, which I don't have, but I did manage to find a good compromise, so here's the way that I did it. Now it might be hard to see, but the level of the float here is higher than that of the jet right there. How does one change the float level? You have to change the thickness of the gasket under the jet right there. So I actually ended up having to make these on the lathe, as I couldn't find any correct size in my little assortment box here. So I actually turned some fiber washers that I found in my little box to the adequate diameter so that they would fit, and it seems to work. Now, I'm well aware that not everybody has a lathe, but if you do own this kind of vehicle, it might be a good idea to get one. Or at any rate, make sure that you have a local club which could help you out with the fabrication of parts like these. Now, this last step in tuning an engine is one of the most misunderstood of the whole classic car world. It consists of the synchronizing of multiple carburetors and adjusting the idle mixture screws. Now, most definitely some background knowledge does help quite a bit, and in this case it's a bit of a compromise to get things right. As you have seen, one of the idle mixture screws is completely knackered by some previous knobhead who had absolutely no idea what he was doing. This is somewhat of a balancing act to get the best compromise on idle, and so far I think that I've got it more or less right. I'm happy with it. It doesn't smoke, it doesn't smell. It's a decent setup as it is. I am definitely looking into transforming into EFI, looking into solutions for that. So if you do have one or know of an EFI transformation that is readily available off the shelves, do let me know. Now, I got the float level right on the first carb, and it sort of still sweats a bit on the rear end carburetor. So I did have to go back in there and adjust a little more. I added a little bit of a shim on the fuel inlet jet and sorted that problem out. Now they are both perfectly synchronized and idles brilliantly well. So that's the end of part 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to drop a like and leave a comment if you had. You can always support the channel as well if you head over to my Patreon page. Every little bit helps, so thank you so much for that. I'll be catching you all in the next video where we will be most definitely covering the changing of all the fluids of this vehicle, and God only knows there is a lot of the stuff. I do hope that you found this video entertaining. I'll be catching you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody. Goodbye.